Hey, Adrian here. Today I want to talk to you about one simple mindset hack that changes everything. This is a realization for me that I was constantly setting myself up for failure, and I think that you could be too. And here's how I'm going to explain this. Hopefully I'll do this some justice and bring it across to you in such a way that's meaningful, that's relatable, and that can help you in business and in life. By the way, if you're interested in taking the next step in terms of coaching, so whether that be some sort of mindset block, or you're sort of limited, or you feel like you're not achieving, or you're not getting ahead, or there's something more that you have to give and you're not quite sure what that is, then I'm happy to let you know that I've now added life coaching to my business as a service, which can be done one-on-one. So if you're interested in having a chat about how I can help you, then just comment more info and I'll be able to send you some information about how we can maybe help each other. Okay? Anyway, let's get on to the video. If you're watching now live, say hello. If you're watching in replay, comment replay so I can thank you later for your time. All right, so here we go. We all know just how powerful the mind is. We all know how powerful our thoughts are and how we can use that to our advantage in life, and how it can become some sort of a problematic thing in terms of how we want to achieve our career, our business, our life, whatever we are, relationships. It can be any area of life that you want. So I'll give you an example. We form habits, we form associations to languaging, to emotions, to our personalities, and we discover that as we're born. So when we're born, we come into this world with no fears, or virtually no fears, no sense of self. We discover who we are, what we like, what we dislike, our values, our beliefs. We grow into that as we are born into this world. We're highly influenced by our mums and our dads, the people that we hang around, the news, TV, like all of these other society influences that help us understand who we are. But we make associations, which is the key distinction that I want to bring across. And I'll give you an example. So when you grow up, you might have fallen down and grazed your knee whilst you're riding your bike, for example. So falling down, grazing knee equals pain. It equals hurt. Don't fall down. So we've associated or made a link or a connection between grazing our knee and pain. If we touch something hot, then it's the same thing. We might get burned. So now we know hot things equals getting burned. Don't do that. And we can also liken this to today's experiences. So I'll give you an example for an experience of my own. If you have ever tried this, you should, is try taking cold showers. Okay, there's heaps of benefits of having cold showers. So I was taking a cold shower, and before I turned the water on and before I got underneath the water, I felt my body tighten up and clamp up. So I was preparing for the worst that was happening, meaning I was going to go into that shower knowing full well that it was cold, knowing full well that it was going to be a negative experience for me. However, when I thought about this in more detail, whenever I've been to the beach, for example, and I've gone for a swim, I've come out and gone into a cold shower to wash myself off, and I didn't have the same experience because I expected the shower to be cold. So I never had any preconceived idea that it wouldn't be cold, or that I was going to step into something that was not nice or uncomfortable or a discomfort for me. I went into the shower and I was totally fine. So why did I have the same or different experience when I was at home having a cold shower? Because typically my association to having a shower at home is a beautiful warm shower. All right, so you might be wondering, and you're probably a good idea to think, how the hell does this relate to business, to life, to achievement, to my career, to how I convey myself through my life, to how I achieve things? Well, it's very, very simple. If, for example, you have experienced setbacks, or you've experienced failure, or you've experienced a knockback, or you've had a loved one leave you, or whatever it is, you've had some sort of setback in relationship, business, career, whatever it may be, you've associated that setback to a negative emotion or feeling. So if you were to go into a situation in your career where you wanted to ask for a pay rise, or you wanted to go to a different job or a new position, you may have already had an association of being rejected in the past. So even when you go into that new experience, which is exciting, which is an opportunity, you're already casting your mind to feel bad and rejected simply because you've already associated that feeling to a negative past experience. Does that make sense? So if I'm going into my business life and I'm saying to myself, I'm going to do this live video, and all of a sudden I think about that idiot that posted a shitty comment and said something nasty to me, and I start to think about what will people think, what will they say, and then it starts to really change how I deliver my message. It starts to change my physiology, and I'm setting myself up to deliver a totally shit video simply because I'm already setting myself up for failure. Does this make sense? If you are making sense with this, give me the likes and the thumbs up across the screen. If you want to know how I can help you with this in your life, career, business, and you feel like you're making these kind of early mistakes, then let me know. Just comment more info below, because I can help you through my life coaching, and we can do this on a session per session basis, and I can teach you ways, strategies, techniques that can help you get around it. All right, so let me share with you one little mindset hack that changes everything, and it's simply a mantra that I say to myself. It's a couple of things really, but one little mantra that saves me from effing up every time, right? Or saves me from experiencing new opportunities, new things in a way that's going to be setting myself up for failure, if that makes sense, okay? So I basically say to myself, whatever happens, I'm always in a state of learning and growing. That's what I say to myself. Now, as wanky and as cliche as that sounds, if I say to my mind, hey, listen, whatever happens here, I'm always in a state of learning and growing, how do you think I'm going to go into a business opportunity? How do you think I'm going to go into on stage and presenting in front of 50 or 70 or 100 people? How do you think I'm going to go when I'm doing my workshops? How do you think I'm going to go when I'm delivering a coaching session with someone? Like, I'm already going into it saying, no matter what happens, I'm always growing, always in a state of learning, which means I'm a constant state of never-ending improvement. Conversely, if I think about it as, geez, I hope they like me. Geez, I hope they say something positive back to me. Geez, I hope no one comments on this video that's negative. Geez, I hope that, I get some business out of this. Like, it's always like, if I don't, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to be rejected. My business is going to go down the tube. I'm going to have to find a fucking job. My kids aren't going to love me because I can't support them enough. My wife's not going to love me because there's no stability and financial stability in my marriage. Like, all of these things start to unknowingly conjure up through my body and become a state of my mind. I can never deliver myself and my knowledge and my wares, or whatever you want to call it, in a positive way. I can never do it in such a way that's highly impactful, and I can never do it in such a way that influence people to make a decision with me, like to become a coaching client or to do any live coaching or go to my workshops or seminars. How could I possibly convince anyone else if I can't convince myself that that's something that I can do, that I'm achieving? So my mantra is that I'm always in a state of constant learning and improvement, no matter what happens. So my question for you today is what is your mantra? What is something that you can say to yourself that before an interview, that before you meet someone that you're going on a date, before you ask for a raise in your pay, before you go for a new job, before you go and conduct some business, before you meet a client, before you put a Facebook ad or a post up, before you create a seminar, what's the thing that puts you in a state? It primes you for success and stops you dead in its tracks for all those negative thoughts that come up beforehand. What can enable you to be at your peak every single time you go ahead and try something new? What is that for you? Guys, I hope that has helped you and served you in some way, shape or form. I thank you for those of you hanging around, and until the next video, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.